Well, Sarah Hunter, another autumn campaign rolls around. Where do you feel this England team is at the minute?
I think we're at the start of probably a 3-year cycle. Obviously, we are a year out from the last World Cup, but there was obviously a lot of changes within that squad, from the World Cup squad, with people going to sevens, moving on, etc. So this really does feel like a new start, for 3 years out, some real focus on where we want to get to in 2021, and it's a real good, exciting blend of that youthfulness alongside some more experienced players, shall we say.
Very delicately put. You've got some teammates in there, the likes of Joe Brown, Kath O'Donnell in the pack, Katie Daly-McLean is now at Loughborough Lightning, of course, and Karis Williams in the backs. Alongside 7 Saracens, I make that 12 players out of the 28 that are unbeaten so far at club level. So that's a lot of confidence going into this squad.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, as a player, that's what you need. You need that confidence and that winning mentality, and hopefully, obviously the other players alongside in the other TP clubs have done well this season. But yeah, I think it shows just where Simon and the rest of the coaches are picking from the TP 15. So you'd like to think that the teams that are probably winning or performing, that actually it means that people are being picked on their playing performance and ability and form, which is exactly what you want as a player. You want to be having a sort of an even level playing field of getting picked, and I think this squad does show that and suggest that actually the players that are in are the ones that have been in really, really great form so far this season for their clubs. Yeah,
and you're welcoming back, of course, a couple who've been on that Sevens programme, Vicky Fleetwood, Lydia Thompson, Sarah McKenna, back with those new faces. Good to have, as you mentioned it, let's say familiarity.
Yeah, absolutely. They were great for us when they were with 15s, and they've obviously gone and done a fantastic job with sevens, but it's nice to have them in the squad, and they just bring probably a different dynamic to some of the players as well. So it just really gives that mix of what we can do. Obviously, Vicky Fleetwood is a very powerful, exciting player, and McKenna back is really skillful, and having Lydia out on the wing and hopefully coming back into the form that she was in the World Cup year will just add real strength to our squad.
Yeah, the November period is going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Because we know there are these 28 contracts coming full-time in January. Simon Middleton says this is the key period to sort of audition for those. So as much as you need to play together as a team, there's a little bit of individuality at stake, because you guys want to be the first women to be on those full-time contracts.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think this is the case. So obviously that we've had 5 weeks of the Tyrrell Premier 15s, now we've got the Quilter Autumns to sort of put a hand up and say, please pick me, please give me a contract so I can be full-time. But for me, yes, you want to be that player that's performing well, but I think for Simon as well, we have a team first mentality, and obviously if you're playing well for the country and for England and for the Red Roses, you're ultimately doing a really good job as an individual. Therefore, I think if you start to go off script a little bit and start to go, actually I want to try and stand out, that's when those little bits will fall down and actually may or may not work against you. So I think and we've got that sort of squad mentality within ourselves, is that yes, we want to be the best players we can be, but we'll do that by being the best we can do for the team.
And in terms of the opposition this November then, USA, Canada and Ireland, they're a bit of an unknown at this point in the sort of cycle, aren't they? We've known how strong Ireland and Canada can be historically, but more recently they've fallen away a little bit. So interesting ones to prepare for.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that unknown, and I think for us in our camp the other week, we're focusing quite a lot on ourselves rather than the opposition. So America will be really interesting, with Rob Kane from Saracens going over there and becoming head coach, and who knows what changes he's going to have made with their squad. But we know for one thing, they'll be powerful, they'll be quick, they'll be athletic. He will have probably worked really hard to upskill them as well. So yeah, we'll definitely respect all of them. The Canadian squad, I think they were obviously very new last year, but I think they've brought some players back as well, and they're a year later down the line, and we're playing with a couple of them at Loughborough Lightning. So if they all play the way they've been playing, there certainly will be a very, very tough opposition. And like you say, Ireland, we know one thing, regardless of how they've performed against other people, whenever they play for England, they raise their game to another level, and it'll be no different this side. Again, they built through the Six Nations, and that last game against us at Rico was really challenging, and I know they've had a lot of time together in their provinces and as a squad together, so hopefully they'll be a real challenge for us as well, and we'll respect each and every one of them, but we'll be focusing on what we can do and where we want to build our game to over the 3 tests.
Yeah, and that middle one then particularly, just a word to the people of Doncaster and Yorkshire and the surrounding area, how important would it be for you guys to see 5,000 people packing that out for that regionalisation of taking the Red Roses on tour?
I think it's brilliant. Obviously playing here at the home of rugby is great, but actually being able to take us and showcase our game around the country is absolutely huge for us, to reach new audiences from both a fan base, but also for the younger players, like try and inspire that next generation. And rugby's thriving in Yorkshire. It's absolutely huge. We saw that on Monday night when we were with some of the volunteers up at Doncaster. The stadium's a great facility, and hopefully if we can pack it out, the atmosphere that will be generated will be absolutely iconic and something that we're just itching at the bit to get. We go away to France and they fill stadiums, so now it's our turn to start to get behind and go, actually we're going to go support the Red Roses and be that person that lifts them and takes us to the next level.